Hello and welcome to another episode of Hawk TV News. I'm Ariely Batista.
And I'm Kara Chivarella. The third phase of Pier Village's redevelopment recently broke ground after 3 years of planning and negotiations. The project is a joint deal between Kushner Companies and Extel Development and will cost around $283 million. It will include a new boardwalk, oceanfront hotel, luxury condos, and a carousel. The condos will range in price from $510,000 to $2 million. Mayor Adam Schneider has said he's excited for the redevelopment and expects to see the new boardwalk open up in the next couple of months.
The future look of the Monmouth Mall will have a mix of commercial, residential, retail, and outdoor spaces. Rouse Properties is in 55 partnership with Kushner Companies. If the site plans is set and approved, the rename heights, the site plans call about 300,000 square feet to be knocked down, and there will be 900,000 square feet of new building additions. The proposed footprint of the new mall is 1.5 million square feet Rental units are being proposed, including apartments reserved for medical offices. Public hearings begin March 5th.
Brookdale Community College recently announced that the school will be increasing its tuition cost by 2.2% starting in July of 2018. The tuition will increase from $135 to $138 per credit. Along with these increases, a new $50 fee is being added for courses in certain departments in order to cover increased instructional costs. Brookdale's President David Stout made a statement saying that this increase is to help balance increasing operational costs with the need to provide an affordable and high-quality education for local students. Along with these increases, the community college will also be launching a new initiative that will involve a push for more textbook-free courses and improvements to new and existing online and hybrid classes.
The third 23rd Olympic Winter Games began Friday, February 9th in Pyeongchang, South Korea, with the coldest opening ceremony in 24 years. The ceremony included 35,000 spectators and tightly choreographed performances in near-freezing conditions. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence, Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Yo-young, and head of the state Kim Young-man were in attendance. Many South Koreans believe that the Games could bring peace between North and South Korea and led to a path of nuclear disarmament. 2,900 athletes from about 90 nations will be competing in the Games.
On Friday, February 5th, a new Long Branch police chief was sworn in. Jason Robach previously served as the public safety director from 2013 to 2017. The public safety director's position is a civilian position in which Robach had to take a leave of absence before being appointed as new chief in Long Branch.
For a sports update, we now go to Jack Reibel.
With the football season ending and the NBA season beginning to heat up, the All-Star break is right around the corner. The game will be held Sunday, February 18th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. The format this year has changed for the game itself. Instead of having a team of East and West All-Stars, the one representative from each conference acted as a team captain and drafted a team of the players voted to the game. The captains this year are LeBron James of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Earlier after the draft, Team LeBron was viewed as a strong favorite to not only win the exhibition, but win big. However, since the draft, Team LeBron has caught the injury bug. LeBron has lost 4 stars, one of which was starter in DeMarcus Cousins, and 3 others which included his teammate, Kevin Love. Despite the injuries, Team LeBron still has a lot of talent. With last year's MVP, Russell Westbrook, coming off the bench, Team LeBron also took Kevin Durant with the assumed first pick in the draft. After Durant won Finals MVP last season en route to beating James and the Cavaliers in the finals, the two will team up to try to take down Durant's teammate in Curry. Taking Durant also puts Westbrook and Durant on the same team since Durant infamously left Oklahoma City. And who can forget about LeBron drafting his former teammate in Kyrie Irving? After Kyrie's awkward exit in the summer, which included him demanding a trade, many wonder if LeBron wishes that Kyrie never left. However, for one night, LeBron will get to play with his former teammate again. Team Steph, while lacking the storylines that Team LeBron has had, still has an interesting makeup. Curry drafted 2 of his teammates to his bench with Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, while also taking last year's MVP runner-up, James Harden. His starting lineup also has 2 of the brightest young stars in the game today with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Joel Embiid. Well, with the team set and the game less than a week away, It will be interesting to see how the next chapter in the LeBron James-Steph Curry rivalry unfolds. Back to you guys at the desk.
We have to take a short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
All it took was someone who would insist that I just try.
Suddenly, everything was turned around because they judge you.
You tell them, I don't need this.
No one is going to understand.
Unless they've been through it, how can they?
Then one day you realize,
You feel so hopeless.
I need help. I need help.
You feel so hopeless.
Then one day you realize,
Unless they've been through it, how can they understand?
I don't need this.
No one's going to judge you.
suddenly everything was turned around because they insist that I just try.
All it took was someone who would just
Listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi! Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab,
I knew
a
it.
car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
A former teacher from Lawrenceville School, a prestigious private institution in New Jersey, has been accused of blackmailing students and making them do physical activity naked in the shower. Bruce Presley served as a teacher and housemaster from 1960 to 1984, when the school was all male. Presley had students do all this as alternative punishment to avoid formal discipline from the school. Presley is now an entrepreneur and philanthropist in South Florida and is the president of a media company. 6 accusers who stepped forward attended the school in the 1970s and did not accuse Presley of physical abuse, but they admitted that his acts of humiliation have had a long-term effect on their lives.
The High Court in London blocked the extradition of alleged British hacker to the United States. 32-year-old Lori Love is accused of hacking into numerous U.S. government agencies, including the U.S. Army, Environmental Protection Agency, NASA, and the Federal Reserve. A criminal complaint filed in New Jersey claims that Love installed a backdoor within the networks to steal personal and confidential information from the agencies, which includes military personnel from Fort Monmouth. Love has also been charged in New York and Virginia, but the British justice system wants to deal with the matter themselves.
NFL linebacker Edwin Jackson from the Indianapolis Colts and another man identified as Jeffrey Moore were killed by a drunk driver on February 4th. The driver was identified as Manuel Orrego Salvala, who is an undocumented immigrant from Guatemala. President Trump took to Twitter to call out Democrats for not being tough on immigration policy. Marion County Prosecutor Terry Curry filed for felony charges against Salvala and labeled the president's tweets as foolish and inappropriate. Salvala was charged with 2 counts of felony failure to remain at the scene of an accident, causing death when operating a motor vehicle when under the influence, and illegal entry into the country. His defense attorney, George Torres, has concerns about his clients being given a fair trial because of the high-profile nature. Salvala was previously deported in 2006 and again in 2009.
Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi set a record by speaking for more than 8 hours on the House floor. This was the longest continuous speech in the House since 1909. Pelosi spoke of the federal spending deals and lack of solution for DACA recipients. She noted that several Democrats' priorities were included in the deal, but will oppose it along with others if House Speaker Paul Ryan does not commit to future immigration debates. During her marathon speech, she read letters from DACA recipients describing how the policy helped them pursue an education or apply for a job. DACA protections are set to end March 5th.
On Thursday, January 25th, Thais Berry was sentenced for 2 counts of attempted murder He was charged with shooting 2 men inside a parked car outside of an Asbury Park tavern in 2012. George Rochelle Gazinski presided over Berry's trial along with Monmouth County Assistant Prosecutor Diane Eifer at the State Superior Court in Toms River.
On February 5th, the stock market dropped to a new intraday record during the final hour of trading. Though this may not have had a direct cause, the Dow Industrials were off more than 1,500 points. This drop resembles the flash crash that occurred back on May 6, 2010, which caused a panic on Wall Street. However, similarly to the crash that happened 8 years ago, the markets made a recovery by the end of the day.
We have to take a short break, but when we return, we will have the latest news in politics and entertainment. Stay tuned for another episode of Hawk TV News.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
We now go to my co-anchor for tips on what to do for Valentine's Day.
I got some tips here that might help you out. As always, these tips are affordable for college students on a budget. Let's start with the basics. You can never go wrong with flowers, unless they're allergic, of course. Then choose one of the other options in my list. Some examples are roses, which always seem to be the #1 pick, tulips, orchids, carnations, and even sunflowers. My personal favorites is both roses and sunflowers. They look the best and make a thoughtful gift. Make sure you know the person's favorite flowers so they know you were thinking about them when you purchased them. Another popular choice is always bears and chocolate. You can get brands like Ferrero Rocher, Hershey's, Godiva, Ghirardelli, and even Kit Kat. Dinner is always a great choice, especially if you're a foodie like me. Make sure you pick something you will both enjoy and it's affordable to you. Personalized pictures and picture frames are always a go-to when last-minute shopping for Valentine's Day because they are so thoughtful and budget-friendly. Ladies, let's not forget the guys this Valentine's Day. I know that for me, looking for what to give a guy for Valentine's Day takes a long time. We don't think about it, but guys are very pretty simple to please. Get him his favorite cologne, a nice t-shirt you saw and knew he would like, a tie, which comes very handy, especially for those upcoming interviews when you're a college student. Remember to make sure to get a thoughtful gift and not the most expensive one. Enjoy this Valentine's Day with your loved ones, sending everyone lots of love. That's all from me today. Back to you guys at the desk. Now we go to Jack Ribel to see what Monmouth students are doing this Valentine's Day.
Here at the Student Center, trying to get a look at what Monmouth University students will be doing for Valentine's Day. Let's go take a look inside. Do you have any plans for Valentine's Day this year?
Nothing in particular. You know, if things happen, they happen.
I'm actually hanging out with my new sorority sisters because we have a lot of stuff to do, so unfortunately I will not be spending it with the one that I want to.
Do you think that Valentine's Day should be a holiday?
Yeah, it's a special holiday for like couples, you know. Anyone have any loved ones? I think it's a great holiday.
No, definitely not.
No?
I disagree. No, I don't think it should be a holiday because if you love someone, you should celebrate it every day.
What's your favorite part of Valentine's Day?
My favorite part has to be like going like 2 days after to Target and getting like the dollar candy. Love it.
Part's probably the chocolate.
Yeah, and when it's discounted the day after.
If you have a Valentine, what would you give them as a gift?
Everybody likes chocolate, so probably chocolate.
What makes for a perfect Valentine's Day date?
Just hanging out, going out to dinner, but you don't always have to spend money to hang out and stuff.
This new film, Black Panther, is outselling every previous superhero film in advanced ticket sales on Fandango. The highly anticipated film opens up on theaters on February 16th and is expected to open at around $130 million or higher. This will be Marvel's first film directed by an African American and one of the first major superhero films with a predominantly African American cast. The film's box office success reinforces the superhero genre as one of the most bankable in Hollywood.
An Amtrak train headed towards Penn Station separated in Baltimore on Tuesday, February 17th. This was the third time in the past week an Amtrak train has had a malfunction. There were 52 passengers on the train, and luckily no one was injured. However, officials believe if anyone was walking through the train at the time of the separation, it could have been much worse. Passengers were later taken by another train to Philadelphia and then transferred to New York.
For the first time in the organization's history, Gerber's new spokesbaby is an infant with Down syndrome. 18-month-old Lucas Warren is the first child with Down syndrome to represent the organization in its 91-year history. Spokesperson Kristen Wooten said that they chose babies who exemplify Gerber's long-standing heritage of recognizing that every baby is a Gerber baby, and Lucas was a perfect fit. Baby Lucas is from Dalton, Georgia, and was selected out of 140,000 entries in the photo search. Lucas and his parents will get $50,000 and he will be featured on social media and in Gerber's ads throughout the year.
For a music update, we now go to Werlins Francois. Music up.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to the music section review of Hog TV News. I am Werlins Francois, and today we're going to be talking about Mingos' Culture 2 album. Culture 2 is Mingos' 13th album as a group and their second mainstream album, a sequel of Culture 1, which was released on January 27th of last year. The album has a total of 24 tracks, including features from famous artists like 21 Savage, Drake, Post Malone, Cardi B, Gucci Mane, 2 Chainz, Ty Dolla $ign, Big Sean's, and my personal favorite, Travis Scott. This album has gotten some mixed reviews due to the fact that it is 24 tracks, which is uncommon for an album to have that many records on it. And the fact that there is a report that Mingos spent a total of 45 minutes to record each song. Not a math major, but 24 times 45 equals about 1,008, which equals about 18 hours, so under a day spent on making the entire album. Now, I'm not going to lie, there are a couple of songs on the album I would definitely skip and not listen to it in its entirety. Some songs do sound repetitive and kind of boring and lack energy that we usually hear from the group. For instance, songs like Made Men and Flooded and Gang Gang didn't quite do it for me. It felt flat and stale. I also did notice some samples of the instrumentals were used from the last album here in a couple of songs like Open It Up and Emoji a Chain. To sum this up, there are about 8 to 9 songs you would either skip or not listen to the whole record. On the other hand, always leave it to Migos to give us a couple of slaps and bangers. With hits like Motorsport, BBO, Stir Fry, Narcos, Higher We Go, White Sand, Work Hard, and my 2 favorite off the album, Walk It Like I Talk It, and Open It Up. Those songs have been on repeat on my Spotify account, and best believe I'm gonna play those at parties. People will get turned up. Overall, I feel like this was a good album by the group, but definitely could have been a little bit better. Some songs felt rushed and repetitive, but did give us great bangers to listen to. No matter what do you think of Mingos, they're at the top of the hip-hop game. Culture 2 has had over 200 million streams in the first week, topping Kendrick Lamar's Damn album, They are also the 5th hip-hop group in history to have more than #1 albums, joining the Beastie Boys, A Tribe Called Quest, and D12. They just keep climbing up the charts and breaking records. That's all for music review. Now back to you guys at the desk.
A tennis instructor has been indicted on charges of having possession of child pornography and sexual contact with a 13-year-old student. 26-year-old Terry Kuo, also known as Victor Lee of Colts Neck, faces a 15-count indictment. Investigators found child pornography on Kuo's electronic devices. Other charges include sexual assault of a minor, attempted endangering the welfare of a child, stalking, and obscenity.
On February 6, Black Lives Matter activist Mohinde Moy was found dead on a residential street in New Orleans, Louisiana. An officer responded to a call of shots fired around 1:24 a.m. Moy made headlines as being the activist who went viral for snatching a Confederate flag from a protester in Charleston in February of 2017. According to his family, Moy died from blood loss from a gunshot wound to the thigh. His family has currently raised over $7,000 through a certified GoFundMe page.
Now we go to Henya Sarsar for tips on staying healthy this flu season.
As we are in the peak of the flu season, the flu is especially scary this year. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, reports that there is a dominant flu virus circulating, the H3N2 strain. It is a type of influenza A virus that can cause severe symptoms including fever, cough, sore throat, body aches, and headaches. This strain is associated with many more illnesses and hospitalization. In the worst cases, the flu can cause pneumonia or secondary bacterial infections that can be fatal. Those who are hit hard are the very young, the elderly, and those with health conditions. In any case, it is frustrating to get sick. To stay healthy and avoid the flu, I'm going to give you 5 tips. Tip number 1 is to get the flu shot. The flu vaccine prompts your body to develop antibodies that help guard against the flu. The sooner you get it, the better. It takes up to 2 weeks for the antibodies to develop and provide protection. You could still get other strains of the flu, but it is less likely to be severe. Tip number 2 is to get medical care. If you think you have the flu, don't wait. Getting professional medical advice is essential. The flu is more serious than a cold and can get worse if not treated. Do not take antibiotics if the doctor hasn't prescribed them. Antibiotics kill bacteria that cause bacterial infections. They do not kill viruses that can cause the flu and can potentially be harmful. Tip number 3 is to stay away from anyone who is sick. The flu can travel through the air many times. An illness can spread among a group of friends. I know in college there are a lot of hugs and handshakes, so try to avoid those who are coughing and sneezing. Tip number 4 is to keep your hands away from your mouth. It is also a good idea to clean and sanitize common surfaces often, such as light switches, doorknobs, and phone screens. Washing your hands is essential when touching common surfaces. Lastly, tip number 5 is to get sleep. Your body will need time to recover and fight the illness. Rest will repair your immune system and keep you on the path for a healthy semester. Hopefully these tips will help you avoid the flu. That's all for this time. Back to you guys at the desk.
We have to take another short break, but when we return, we have an exciting recap on Monmouth sports.
Wake up, bring on the sunny morning. Wake up, bring on the sunny morning. Wake up with us.
This is Hawk TV News, and we've got it covered.
This is Hawk TV News.
This is Hawk TV News, and we've got it covered.
Oh, emojis. I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls. Just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you.
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
Welcome back. Let's check out the latest in Monmouth sports. The men's tennis team competed in 3 matches on February 9th, 10th, and 11th, recording a win against George Washington and 2 losses to Georgetown and Virginia. The Hawks dropped a 5-2 decision against Georgetown on February 9th, and junior Nicola Popoli earned the team's #1 singles wins. The Hawks claim a 6-1 win over George Washington, with Nicola Popoli, Sergio Martinez, and Will Cook-Warth earning single wins, but the team fell to 3-time defending national champion Virginia on February 11th. 4-2. Senior Ali Gomez Estrada earned one of the team's wins at #3 singles, and sophomore Sergio Martinez picked up the other at #6 singles. The Hawks will return to action on February 16th at the ECAC Championships in Connecticut. The men's and women's track and field teams competed at both the Iowa State Classical and Fast Track Invitational on February 10th. Multiple Hawks qualified for the ECAC Championships, and 5th-year senior Dylan Capwell and graduate student Chris Marco faced nationally ranked opponents at the Iowa State Classic. Capwell finished as the 8th best collegiate runner in the 800-meter race, and Marco finished 29th in the mile. At the Fast Track Invitationals, Evan Adams took 4th in the high jump. Senior Corey Murphy, took 2nd in the shot put, and senior Brian Sosa placed 1st in the 60-meter dash. As for the women, junior Ashley McConey finished 2nd in the triple jump, qualifying for the ECAC Championships. Junior Alyssa Tuba placed 3rd in the shot put, and Naomi Miranda ran a season best, finishing 4th in the 400-meter dash. Up next, the Hawks will travel to New York City to defend their 4th-year indoor MAC championship title. The women's basketball team moves to 8-16 on the season after topping the Niagara Purple Eagles and the Manhattan Jaspers on February 10th and 12th. The Hawks took down the Purple Eagles 65-63 on February 10th. The Hawks trailed by 1 when sophomore Kayla Shaw drilled her 6th three of the game with 17.8 seconds left on the shot clock. Shaw led the team with 20 points on the night, and Alexa Middleton added 8 points and 8 rebounds. On February 12th, the Hawks defeated the Manhattan Jaspers 63-59 in overtime. Senior Ray Spooner-Knight led the team in scoring with 25 points and 5 rebounds. The Hawks moved to 6-8 in conference play and will return to action on February 16th in Buffalo, New York, when they take on the Canisius Golden Griffs. Probably mispronounced that. The men's basketball team fell to Manhattan on February 10th, 93-76. Freshmen Dion Hammond and Ray Salney led the team in scoring with 19 and 16 points. The game was tied at 56 with just under 10 minutes to play, but the Jaspers went on a run to outscore Monmouth in the second half. The team now moves to 8-17 on the seasons and 4-9 in MAC play. The team will return to action on February 16th at home against Canisius.
That's all for this week of Hawk TV News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Cara Chavarella.
And I'm Ariely Batista. Be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Hawk TV News.
Bye.